seat and Scentsy spirit, right? So no one has to sit in the back unless they want to. Okay. So everyone should be good to go. We're after lunch, we're coasting, and how's World Tour so far? How many are here for the first time? How many, please by show of hands, this is your first time? Congratulations. Wow, we've got a room full. Let's give them a round of applause. Yay! We have a lot of new people here at World Tour. That is awesome. So we are almost complete, right? We still have some fun to go, I can tell you that. So try not to exit out early because you're going to miss the grand finale. I won't tell you what that is, but you won't want to miss the final general session. And I will tell you that I know this morning that there might have been some sound issues in the back, but Scentsy is fantastic and they are working in our favor right now, so don't skip out because of that. There's going to be some moving around, some chairs and some speakers, and it's going to be fantabulous. So, all right, you're probably wondering who's talking. My name is Teresa Gosh, like oh my gosh. A lot of people say Gotchi, Gucci, whatever, but it's just gosh. I am star director of Team Purple Explosion. TPE in the house. And with Team Purple Explosion, we have a lot of family and directors underneath, which is awesome. And they're here, and I'm excited. Okay, so I am going to be soliciting some volunteers throughout this today. So I'm excited to meet some new faces here today. And today we're talking about Step Up Your Scentsy Life. Step up your Scentsy life. And you might be saying, well, what does that mean? You know, we're all here, we're having a great time, but guess what? We can always advance. We can always step up our game, right? And that's what we're going to learn about today. How do we do that? All right? So what I want you to do, I'm really big on making sure, especially with my team, that you never come to a world tour and leave a world tour without meeting a new Scentsy sister or brother. I don't know, some of you may go to church, some of you may not, but there's always that awkward moment when you're visiting a church and they're like, turn around to your neighbor and give them a high five. And I'm like, no. And then I feel so convicted because I'm like, oh, I'm in church, I gotta do it. Well, we do not grow in our comfort zones, do we? So guess what I'm gonna ask you to do? We're gonna take a couple of minutes and I would like for you to greet someone that you did not come here with, that's not one of your team members. I would love for you to just introduce yourself. What is your name? How long have you been with Scentsy? And then maybe share, something that you love about the journey or maybe a product. Are you guys ready to get uncomfortable? Yes, all right. So we're going to give you a couple of minutes and go ahead and meet somebody. Bonus points, add that on Instagram or Facebook.
It's better recording over there because I was recording the interpreter and Teresa for like Shelly and them.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Are you okay with that?
Okay, one more minute.
Well, I'm doing it so I can save it for later because she has no one recording us otherwise. Yes. I am in there, but I'm going to save it for later too. But I'm only doing... I couldn't record it. The storage is full.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and wrap up if everyone can return to your seats. All right. This makes my heart so happy to see everyone actually not uncomfortable doing this. So, okay. Are you guys ready to jump back in? Yes? Okay. Woo! All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask for 3 volunteers. All right. I see this gentleman raise his hand first. If he can come up with his new buddy. Okay. I see this lady right here with the hoodie on. If you can come with your new And I see a nice lady over here on the side. Can you please come up to the stage? No. And bring your new buddy, please. Come right on up here, please. Okay. Okay, so 1, 2. Does everyone have a buddy? Do you have your buddy, ma'am, that you had? She's come. All right. Oh my goodness, yes. Okay. You guys, this is working. They're so uncomfortable right now. It doesn't get any more uncomfortable than this, right? Right. Yeah. Guess what? We're about to dance. Smell my laundry. Okay, so sir, you were the first one in the room that I saw that rose your hand. What is your name?
My name's Joey.
And can you introduce your new friend to us and tell us a little bit about her?
This is my friend Elizabeth. She's sold Scentsy 3 times, third time's a charm. And she's been doing it for about 3 years now. No, we didn't get that far.
Because hopefully they'll wrap that part up before they leave the Gaylord, right? Can I get an amen? Amen. All right. And what did you find out about our friend Joey?
Him and his wife actually are not consultants yet. But they're here and having a great time, so they're thinking about it.
That's awesome. Well, give them a round of applause. Elizabeth and Joey, thank you all so much. Okay, and now next up we have Jessica.
This is Misty, and she joined in May, and her group, she has a director that joined in May as well, and became director in September.
Awesome, wow. Oh my goodness, okay, Misty.
This is Jessica. She came all the way from Kansas, and I honestly don't know much more because we started talking to everybody else.
This is what we call opportunity, right? Because you didn't do this earlier today, so now you get to network and meet new people. That's great. Okay, come on up here. Okay. Miss Tina?
Yes. Okay. I'm Tina. This is my friend Nani. She's from Laredo. I don't remember. But she's really nice. Yes. To stop and visit someplace else took them way longer to get here.
They went to IKEA, y'all.
This is Tina. She's from Oklahoma, and I thought it would be farther to get from a different state here, but she drove 4 hours. We drove over 6. So, and she also got stuck with like all the construction around Dallas. So.
Well, thank you all. Give them a round of applause for being so brave. Thank you all so much. Thanks for introducing yourselves and networking and getting out of your comfort zones. And I didn't make you dance, Joey. Okay. So this is the first part of stepping up your Scentsy life. Everyone in here, if you participated in that exercise, you just did it. You just did it. Okay? Part of stepping up your Scentsy life is sharing your story. Okay? I always encourage my team not to sell Scentsy, but to share Scentsy. Okay, and that's exactly what they just did. So I want to talk to you all a little bit about that. So I'm going to share my story with you briefly. Okay, so I have been with Scentsy for 5.5 years. I joined by default because my consultant moved away, and I was like, where am I going to get my crap from, my wax? And so I became my own dealer. And I had no intent. She went on a lot of trips, and I was attracted to that. I was like, oh my goodness, she's going on all these trips. She's going to here, to Bahamas. And when I joined, and I looked up the incentive trip, and I was like, okay, I can sell, you know, the warmers and wax. But then I saw something scary that said sponsoring, and I was like, oh heck no. So that's what I'm not about to do. And I was like, so what I'm going to do is save my money, because I do like to travel, and I'm going to buy, you know, my way to a cruise with my family. And that's exactly what I did. I spent my own money, went and took my family on a cruise to, you know, Cancun, because that's how stubborn I am, and that's how afraid I was. I was like, I'm not going to have that conversation. I'm not going to be rejected. You know, I'm not going to ask someone to spend $100 to join me. Why would they do that? So I didn't, and I didn't for a couple of years. I had a great time. My sales started picking up. I didn't want to leave any money on the table, so I was shooting for 2,000 PRV. And all of a sudden, people were kind of attracted to me for some reason. And one lady out the blue was like, hey, I want to join your team. And I'm like, why? you know? And she was like, what do I do? And I'm like, hold on a second, because I didn't know what to tell her, because I wasn't interested in that. But something that I was doing, the fun that I was having, even though I wasn't growing and I wasn't advancing, I was having a blast. Who can't have a blast with Scentsy? The new warmers of the month, the Scentsy buddies, you know, seeing other people go on trips. I mean, that was fun, right? Well, what happened is I accidentally slipped into my own trip earning because 2 people joined my team and my sales were great, and that changed my business. I have been, and I'm not telling you this to brag, so I want to put this disclaimer out there. I want to share you where I once was, my mindset was, where I wasn't going on any trips, doing anything. And then when that light bulb finally switched, I want to tell you what happened. I promoted to director. I started going to events because at first, probably like some of you, I'm like, I'm not going to World Tour. Why would I can pocket that $100 and get more wax. I'm not going to Scentsy Family Reunion. You want me to buy a hotel and airfare? And no, I'm not going to do that. That just doesn't make sense. It does make sense because leaders are born at events. Look around this room. If you're not a leader yet, we have future leaders amongst us. I'm telling you, if you claim it, it will happen. I sat in a room like this at SFR in Nashville at the Gaylord. How neat is that? And I remember going on my SSD's group and I said, I'm going to be a director one day. And 2 months later, I became a director. A couple years later, we have several directors, on our team. I earned a trip to South Africa. I earned a free Mediterranean cruise. I went to Cancun. I went to Marco Island, top 100. I'm getting ready to go to the Netherlands in 2 weeks, top 150. And the difference is my mindset changed. And I started sharing my story, just like all of you just did. You started sharing your story. And I also started, networking. And it's interesting, when you start sharing your story, sometimes even my team members will approach me and say, how do you do it? How do you earn these trips? You have a strong customer base. And then when I looked I do a lot on social media, I'll tell you that. A lot of it is on social media, online parties, I do basket parties, and every now and again I do home parties. But no matter where I'm partying, I'm sharing my story. And so with that, people are interested in joining the team. Now I'm purposely asking people to join my team. And they're wanting to say, yes, I would like to believe. I lead a team of over 400 consultants now, which is a far cry from where I once was. Thank you. But here's the deal about the story. Every one of you has a story. I have a story. I just shared with you where Scentsy has taken me. Last week, I was at World Tour in Baltimore. I'm not an SSD yet, but I said, why do I need to wait until I become a superstar director to act like a superstar director? If you're not a director yet, you do not have to wait to lead a team. You can do that right now. Well, of all the places that Scentsy has taken me to, one of the best places was last week. And it was in Baltimore, but I drove to where I grew up, which was in Virginia. And some who are in here who are friends with me on Facebook might have seen my story. Before I went to World Tour, I just started going down memory lane. I've gone to Africa, I've gone to Italy, I've gone to France, Ireland, all these places that Scentsy has taken me. One place that I didn't visit, that Scentsy afforded me the opportunity, was my past. It was an opportunity for me to take a time out. There were no kids, didn't have to cook dinner, didn't have to put washer whips in with my laundry. I didn't have to do anything but face my past. And that was hard. But it was necessary. It's necessary. It was hard, and it's okay to visit your past. It's just not okay to stay there and linger, right? I am a teen mom, and I had a really great upbringing. I just made some choices. I also am an Army brat. And I made some choices, and I got pregnant in the 11th grade. And life fast forward, my childhood stopped. And I, for the first time last week, visited my very first apartment. Never went back there until last weekend. And I actually walked up to the front door. And I remember at the time, it was a studio apartment, I think. The bathroom was in the kitchen was in the living room. It was just a hot mess. It was really an old hotel. So it's what it was, but that's where we lived. And then from there, I went to my next apartment where I moved a lot. I didn't realize it until I was driving last week. I went to another apartment, and I could not afford $400 a month in rent. And I got evicted from that apartment with my baby. And I was working 3 jobs. If only I knew about Scentsy back then, if only it existed, I promise you I would have been hustling waxes to make sure we had a roof over our head. I am also a domestic abuse survivor, and so the next house I went to, I was a part of a homeless program, and I signed up for this program. It was called the BEST program, and it was hard, but I worked. And I worked and I worked and I worked. And so I looked at it and I said, thank you, Jesus. Look at where I was and look at where I am now. And so sometimes when I'm sharing my story, thank you. It is by the grace of God, and it's also not only by His grace, but hard work, consistency, dedication, climbing, going through the hurdles and the challenges, and not giving up. We don't give up. And so I looked back at that and I talked to my old self last week. I was like, I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Look at where you are right now. Some people might say it's luck. She's so lucky she went to Africa. She's so lucky people want to join her team. It's not luck. None of it is luck. It's about putting down the fear, sharing my story. I'm not ashamed of my story. I can sit in front of this room right now and share this story transparently because there's somebody else in here with a mountain. There's somebody else in this room that needs to climb. There's someone else that needs to look at their past and say, you know what? No more. This is where I am. This is the direction, and I'm going to climb. And so whatever your dreams are, whatever your aspirations are, you don't have to be a victim to yourself, because sometimes that mountain is you. It's not anything else but you, okay? So with all that being said, I want to encourage you, number one, to share your story. Don't be ashamed of your story. Your story doesn't have to look like mine. The next question that I want to ask, because I want to move into networking, okay, is how many in this room are here with your sponsors? By show of hands, okay? You're here with your sponsors, okay? And put your hands down. And then how many are you here, like Joey, who's not a consultant yet, but you're here with your consultant? Raise your hand, if you would. Yes? I'm not going to ask y'all to come up, I promise. Okay. But for those of you who are here with your sponsor, I would like to ask a question. If there's someone that can just, actually I will ask you to come up. If you can come up right here. Vicki, you're here with your sponsor, right? Okay, do you mind coming up real quick? And then if I can have one person on this side of the room that's here, someone from the back, we have time. I see 2 people. Come on up, please. All right. Yes, come on up. Vicki and Nina from Laredo. Okay. Vicki, you joined Nina's team how long ago?
I joined in January of 2018.
Okay. You could have joined anybody, but what attracted you to joining Nina's team?
She actually forced me into her not to be my friend anymore, so...
She's a comedian.
I've been buying things. I really don't need this, but I've been buying Scentsy for like 8 years, and the person that I would buy it from was always like, well, do you want to sell? I'm like, hell no, that's not my thing, you know? So I never did it. But then this one ended up signing up, and the day she told me, I was like, whatever. 3 days later, we came back from a trip, I'm like, I'm going to sign up underneath you, because I'm like, why keep buying it and just getting free stuff when I can get free stuff and generate revenue and pay stuff that I need to pay? So I just had a different set of mind, and I signed up with her. So.
And what she loved, she earned a free trip to Cancun.
Yay!
So there had to be something about Nina that she trusted to say, I trust her, I know her, and I'm going to join her team. Thank you, ladies. All right. Okay, and what is your name? Are you the consultant or?
My sponsor is back there. She's also my director.
Okay, so what did she do that attracted you to join her? You could have joined anyone in this room. Why did you join her?
Because I went to an event that she had, and it was called the Jingle Jamboree. I was doing Chalk Couture, and I had been doing Chalk Couture for about a year, and I just wasn't making any money. No one wanted to buy, no one wanted to do anything to buy products or come to events. And so it was September, and I came to her house to pick up what I had ordered at the Jingle Jamboree. And she convinced me to join for $15.99 or whatever. And then I joined, and now we're best friends, and the person I sponsor is also my best friend too.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Okay, we have one did you choose your sponsor?
So my sponsor kind of like the other one. She kind of threatened me, forced me, whatever. We had been friends and stuff and our husbands for about 5 years, and every time she was doing a home party, or every time I was like, oh, I can go with you, and she's like, why don't you join? No, I don't know anybody, I'm not doing that, no. And then she'd be packaging up orders, and be like, well, I can help with that. Well, if you're helping me, why don't you make your own money? No, I can't do that. I don't know anybody, and I'm not doing it. So after 5 years, I finally joined it. I've been doing it for about 5 years now.
Wow, congratulations. Thank you for sharing that with me. Okay. So you hear different stories. You know, there's friendships where it's like, I trust her, I trust Nina, I'm going to join her team. Or I'm going to an event and I see that she's serious about her business, so she's probably going to sponsor me, you know, properly. But at some point, there was a reason besides the force where, you know, the decision was made to join the team, okay? But we have to get over our fear. We have to get out of our comfort zone, just like we did earlier here today as well. And guess what? We're all still alive, you know. Even if you get some no's, you're going to get no's. And part of my fear was the rejection. I don't want to be told no, or they're not going to be my friend. They're all still my friends. They're still my customers. And sometimes the answer is just, it's no, but just not right now, maybe later. All right. So the other thing, too, is we talked about earlier is networking. Make sure that you make a note of that you have to network. If you come to an event like this and you're not networking, then you're not, you know, you want to grow your support system within Scentsy as well, okay? The other thing I want to share real quickly too is celebrate. I happened to look at some of my team members' Facebook pages today. They've been here for several hours and some of it's crickets. Some of them haven't posted till Wednesday, and then they're going to come to me next week and say, nobody wants to join my team though. They don't know you have a team. They don't know that you want a team. They don't know that you're having fun. They don't know. So they can't do what they don't know. And so here's an opportunity. I encourage all of you, do not leave the Gaylord without making at least one post on social media, any platform of your choice, because people need to see this journey. They need to know that you just met Joey. They need to know that you just met Honey. You know, that you have some new friends that maybe, you know, they're like, oh my goodness, at my job, we don't get this opportunity to go to the Gaylord, or we don't get freebies, you know, like this. So celebrate. If you are getting Happy Mail, you know, this, to me, I consider it to be Happy Mail. Why not share this, you know, on social media? Like, oh my goodness, look what Scentsy blessed us with. This is awesome, you know? So share that. Or it could just be something like, I get this from my SSD. She's super sweet, but when I get this Happy Mail, I like to celebrate, not to be conceited or to toot my own horn, but she went out of her way to put post-its on this, right? And so I want to share that my efforts are rewarded. You know, it could be through her, or it could be through Scentsy Home Office. You know how we get the little charms and stuff like that? Why keep it to yourself? The experience that you're having today at World Tour, do not let it just stay in this room. When you go, not if, but when you go to Scentsy Family Reunion, don't keep that excitement there, because no one will have a reason to want to join you, okay? Last but not least, I want to talk about branding, okay? For me, anyone that's my customer or my team members, my brand for my business, I don't necessarily promote Scentsy, because anyone can go to Scentsy.com and order, but why do they want to come to me, right? Why are they going to remember me? Yesterday, someone sent me a text who's never ever purchased Scentsy from me, and she said, hey, I have a new customer for you. She's going to call you. What's your number? So the lady called me and she said, hi, my name is Jane, and I only will use Sunkissed Citrus. And I said, hi, Jane. Thank you so much for choosing me. And I said, how can I help you? She said, I would like to get 30 bars of Sunkissed Citrus.
Wow.
Pardon me. So I'm trying to keep a straight face, and I'm trying not to stutter. You want to do it? I was like, 30? And she's like, yep, 30. I was like, so 30. Yep, the 30 bars of Sunkissed Citrus. I was like, oh my gosh. You know, I'm like, I don't even know what to do with myself right now. You know? But even though that other lady did not buy from me, she bought someone else, her hairdresser, that needed a Scentsy consultant. And she purchased from me. There's something about my journey. There's something that she trusts to know that I'm going to take her order and deliver, right? So I brand with my dog. So people will see my dog Maxwell, and I talk about how he's my lazy consultant that doesn't want to get up for work. He's late. He's always sleeping on the job. So everyone knows Maxwell. Well, I have a huge base of customers that love dogs and loves poodles and everything else. So they know Maxwell. And that attracts them to me and attracts them to want to order. Sometimes I go on Snapchat and I turn into Foxy Diva. My team has seen it. And I will be Foxy Diva, and I'm like, I want to get some of that blueberry rush. Well, I'm sorry, Foxy Diva. I told you the last day was this day, but I can give you another opportunity or a different bar. So this is my personality. It might not be yours, but it is mine. And so I try to put fun into the fragrant experience. And so some people, they may not buy it. It's okay. They might like, they might laugh, they might comment, and that helps my Facebook algorithm. You do you. And it's your journey, so find out who you are. Like Orville said today, don't become attracted to your imposter self. Be authentic and find a way to brand yourself. Sometimes I could just be like, you know what, it's been a long day, and I'll just take a picture of my bed. I'm about to hit the sack. I'm not selling anything. I'm sharing my Scentsy life. I'm sharing my blanket that's been all over the world with me, you know? And so through that, somebody might be scrolling through Facebook and is like, oh shoot, I just ran out of blueberry cheesecake. And they'll message me. It's not ironic that I get a message right after, the next day or whatever, after I share a picture of my blanket or something. So brand yourself, be authentic. Okay, last but not least, I want to encourage you all to climb. I want to encourage each of you to climb. I want you to challenge yourself. If you learned something, not just in this class, but in one of the other breakout sessions, challenge yourself to do something different to grow. What are your dreams? What are your aspirations? What are your goals in life? But challenge yourself to do something different, to take it up a step. All right? I also want you to learn something new. It could be Instagram, and I want to tell you right now that stories are the way to go. You can Google it yourself, but you'll see Instagram has stories. Facebook has stories. Watch commercials on TV. We are attracted to stories. We're attracted to Heidi and Orville's story, the Scentsy story. What is your story? What is your story? Because it can't stay here. If you want to grow your team, you have to share your story, and you have to be willing to learn. And you also want to ask yourself, what can you be influenced by? For me, if I am cooking, doing laundry, or whatever, I'm never too busy to where I can't listen to YouTube, to someone, like Allison Dalkey, or Felicia Fitzgerald, or, Becca Levi. I'm always learning. So read, you can, watch podcasts. It doesn't even have to be Scentsy related, but always be willing to be influenced by someone. Next, what do you need to magnify? Do you need to magnify your story? Do you need to magnify your brand? But take these notes and make sure that you're leaving here with some action items. And then last but not least, believe. I believe that believing and having faith is half of the battle, right? And the battlefield is where? It's in our mind. So believe that you can. And on that note, I'm going to tell you that, I'm going to leave you with this. It's not the mountain that we conquer, but it's ourselves. So thank you so much for your time today. And I wish you all the best and hope to see you out there in Scentsy Land. Thank you.